Okay, we are recording.
Cool.
So welcome to the first, I don't know what this is. Effectively, we want to add optimistic concurrency to RangeDB. And one of the contributors to the project, Julian, made some commits to add optimistic concurrency. And after that was done, it was great. A lot of the stuff got added. We got the optimistic concurrency added to Postgres and a few others. I had to go back and add optimistic concurrency to LevelDB, and I think that's all I really had to add, and then made the test work correctly.
Okay.
So there's a lot of commits here, and what we can do is we can go through the changes from this branch to master, just to get a sense of like what has changed, and then create a to-do list on how are we going to tackle this and get this in the system, and then potentially release this if we can get it working. That's a pretty big challenge for 2 hours, but
yeah,
I've seen stranger things happen.
It's fine.
I'm going to ignore these generated files because they're not really important. Mm-hmm. There's a file in a struct in the errors in a new errors package. I'm not in love with this because this is more closely related to the interface of the store and not really an errors package. So I'm concerned that that might have some problems, but I added it to the to-do list. We don't have to tackle it first. This is the gRPC package. This is the RangeDB protocol buffer file for an event to be saved, adding expected stream sequence number. And this new type had to be created uint64 value. I think Julian did this because the gRPC generation package we're using for Go doesn't support optional unless you do some experimental stuff.
Okay.
Not in love with this, but I'm not going to touch it just yet. I added it to I have a to-do list working right here.
Okay.
One is to move that error to the correct package, and then potentially making this optional instead of doing this kind of hacky creating a new type so you can have an optional value. I think protobuf 3 supports optional as well as 2, so it's kind of low priority. Glad it's in here, but I'm not in love with it.
Yeah.
gRPC RangeDB server. So this is a package that we write that consumes the generated files. So this protobuf, this RangeDB.proto, generates a bunch of Go files that you can use that works with protocol buffers. And this RangeDB server is kind of a semi-generated thing that we put our code in. It looks like there was a change to add expected stream sequence number and calling on save event. I think this needs to be changed. I don't believe this is save event. I think it's optimistic save. So we'll take a peek at that in a second. RangeDB server, okay. I'll have to remember that. RangeDB API looks like it has a save event. I think we want this to be optimistic save again and get rid of this. Just because like this store, this is the RangeDB store. Oops. Mm-hmm. This is the interface for it. And I created an optimistic save instead of trying to just break backwards compatibility.
Right.
That was one of the changes that I made to Julian's commits was instead of changing to save, change optimistic save. So I think this isn't correct anymore, but it might be store.save event. Where is the, oh, this is save event, okay. Oh, and it does have expected stream sequence number. Interesting. Well, we'll look at that when we get closer to it.
I see.
In-memory store, same thing, has an optimistic save and has this nil. Yeah, I think we'll probably want to take this out. So change it to optimistic save. Basically just calls save event with the expected stream sequence number. So we might have to keep this. Yeah, okay. I'm just talking out loud.
No. Yeah, I'm trying to follow.
This is the in-memory store. So there's several implementations of RangeDB. There's an in-memory store. There's a level DB, which is the key value database. It's a sequential key value store. We have Postgres. We're working on an event store DB one. I'm not sure if that's guy's priority right now. So when we make this change to the optimistic save, we have to change all those backend stores. I think they all work after the current version of this branch works. So to implement the in-memory on optimistic save, so say you want to save an event and you tell us the expected sequence number that you want to, say you're on version 3 of the event stream and you want to put a new event in the stream. You say, here's the new event and I expect it to be version 4. So what we do is we go grab the next sequence number in the stream. If that's 4, okay, so we got a value, and if they don't equal, then we get an unexpected sequence number.
I see.
So the only way an event can go in the stream is if you save it with a corrected, if you save it with the next version.
Does I have a question. So like if you have 2 clients, right? Could they both get the same sequence number for the next? Or does that automatically increment?
That's what this solves for. So if you have 2, well, the in-memory store is a little different. I guess if you had 2 Go routines running,
yeah,
and Go routine A gets 3 versions of the event store, and then subroutine B gets those 3 events in the store, and they try to save a new event, number 4. If the first one succeeds, A gets number 4 in the stream, and then B tries to save, the next sequence number will be 5, so it will fail, and you'll get an error saying unexpected sequence number. That's what this is all about.
Oh yeah. I'm just trying to come up to speed with the problem we're solving.
No, that's a perfect question. I'm really glad you asked, because I probably wouldn't have covered the actual thing we're trying to solve for. Mm-hmm. The test likely it might make more sense once we get to the tests.
Yeah.
I wish GitHub organized test first, then you
right.
Test-driven code review. Okay, so this is so all of the implementations are going to look like this. They're going to get the next sequence number. They're going to see if you did give us an expected one, because it can be nil. Got this star in front of the uint64, so it's nillable. So this thing I was concerned about is like expected behavior. I haven't seen this. This code's been around since October, so it's been a couple months. I'm a little bit behind. So if you want to have optimistic concurrency, you pass in a number. If you don't, you pass it nil, and it won't do the checking. I guess we want to support that. Maybe some projects don't really care about this, or if you're just getting started in event sourcing, it might be helpful to not have to deal with the next sequence number.
Yeah, right.
Although I imagine at the end of this, I'm going to want that to be enforced. But I'm doing everything I can to keep us on version 0.4.1 instead of having to like bump it to 0.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we do get rid of save and just make it always optimistic, then we'll have to go to 5. I mean, this is still alpha, so we can do whatever we want. I just want to be a little bit safe because people are starting to use this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back in. So this is the in-memory store. It's got, looks like this was just refactored a little bit, pulled this into functions because this didn't make sense what was happening. Get next stream sequence number, get next global sequence number. Okay. I'm definitely in favor of doing this kind of thing. Almost always. This no good, this good.
Yeah.
Because this can be, you'll probably see this in the other implementations, whereas this stuff might be a little different.
I like that.
Or vice versa, like this will be the same across implementations and this is what will be different. So kind of a little strategy thing going on.
Yeah, it's more descriptive of what you're actually doing.
That's it, yeah, exactly. So this is the level DB store. We have optimistic save, just dumps it in a save event. Again, we're checking, getting the next sequence number. And getting next sequence number is different in level DB. If I can find it. It's probably way down. Here, I'll just go search for it in the real deal. It looks like that function already existed. Get next sequence. So you have to do some fancy level DB work to get the next sequence number. But in the in-memory store, you're just accessing the the thing by key,
Right.
the records by stream, which is a map. Yeah, so it's a lot easier for the in-memory versus the. And I imagine Postgres is different as well. I'm just curious what that looks like. Get next stream sequence number. So we have to make a select from record where aggregate type, and yeah. Okay, I'm cool with that. Sorry, a little tangent. I just wanted to get a grasp of how it's working underneath the hood.
Mm-hmm.
But basically they're the same. We got get next global, next sequence number, perfect. The Postgres store, same thing. Optimistic save. Get next sequence number. It's like the exact same code.
Right.
Down here, stream sequence number, next sequence number, global sequence number. I wonder where does this global number come from? Global sequence number. Is that always 0? That's interesting. Maybe I'm missing something. Oh, maybe there's some code in here that does something with it.
Yeah,
Scanning for the global. Oh, okay, they're scanning for it. They're inserting, and then they return the next value, I guess. Okay, I'm not too worried about the implementation. Remote store. Oh, there's another implementation.
Okay.
We have in memory. We have level DB. We have Postgres. We also have remote. It also implements the interface. I believe it uses gRPC under the hood. Yeah, it uses gRPC, the RangeDB protobuf package. So we got optimistic save. There's that same code we've been looking at, checking the expected sequence number. And it's passing in expected sequence number. And this is a strange, hacky object, so it can be nullable. I kind of don't want to touch that. I think that's okay. If we find a better way to do optional integers, I don't know. Let's just keep going. Is this cool? Is this like just going through doing like a quick code review? Is that helpful?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Because I need it because I just need to get up to speed. This is the first time I've seen this.
No, yes.
Find events. Failing event store. This is just adding that expected number in here. We use underscore to signify we don't care in this implementation like what those values are. Mm-hmm. Verify store. So this is under the RangeDB test package is a verify store function. This is my fancy way of verifying that it implements an interface. It's just a function that all of the implementations call, the in-memory, level DB, Postgres, and remote. They all call this thing and say, I've created a store and I have set it up correctly and I have a teardown already ready to go. Do what you want with this store. And so you have a new store method that you can call, and that gets you the store, and then it handles teardown on its own. It just allows us to test all of the implementations using the same, like this whole test package is testing all the different features of what a store should be able to do. And I think optimistic concurrency is one of them. So let's go take a peek. This looks like backfilling nil on all these tests that don't care about optimistic concurrency. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be a lot of those. I'm not a fan of this. This is why I like having a separate, creating a different scene so we don't have to change too much to add the feature. And then when we're happy with it, we can go back and do the disastrous big change. Okay, so here we go. We got optimistic save tests. So we got one that saves the first event. We have to do randomization, initialization, get the store, get a silly event, try to optimistically save it, correct. When we go grab all of the events starting with 0, we expect there to, it looks like we're pulling off one record, and then the second time we try to pull off, there's no record. So it's just, this is just saying, is there one record in the store? It's a aggregate type thing. The sequence number is global is 0, stream is 0, thing was done. That, I mean, I think that's what it is.
That makes sense. Just ensuring that it can save to the stream, right?
Yep. Optimistic save, what is that? So the first value is expected. Okay, so we expect it to be 0. And there's no error that comes back. That's checked here. Okay. We need context because the store requires it, mostly for the remote, but also for other reasons. This first test isn't very helpful. It just makes sure that the optimistic save works. There's no checking that. Does it actually do what it's supposed to do? This is just I think this is a leftover test. We can keep it. I don't see any reason why not to. And here's the one that really verifies it. Fails to save first event from unexpected sequence number. So we got a store. We have to bind the event types. That's how this whole thing works in static land, statically typed languages. You don't have to do this in dynamic languages. We have an event, thing was done. We save it, but there's no events in this stream. And we try to save it with the expected number 1. So we require that it's not nil. We probably want to check the exact type. Oh, it looks like there is some checking in here. So we reach into the error, unexpected sequence number 1, next 0. I wonder if this, is this a good error? If you try to save into there and you get this thing that says unexpected sequence number 1, next 0.
I mean, I guess it, but I mean, it's telling you why it failed. I mean, it has to do with sequence number, right?
Yeah, because the next one would be, the sequence number start with 0. I don't know why I did that. That's what it is.
That's fine.
And then if, I don't like if statements.
Maybe instead of saying next, just say expected. I don't know.
Well, here you go. This is an if statement to get the type, that it's an unexpected sequence number type.
Okay.
And then assert that expected is 1 and next sequence number is 0. So we might want to change this up a little. I'm not sure. Let's just keep going. I'm pretty confident that this test is going to verify that if you try to save it expecting one number, that it doesn't tick to the right number, it'll work across all of them. And then we added the interface optimistic save and changed save event to have expected stream sequence number. That's nullable. Okay, that was a mouthful.
It's good.
I wish there was a better way to clean up this. What else did we say? A lot of same code. This looks like duplication, but technically it's not. I wouldn't want to couple the implementations to some central package like that.
Right. I mean, because each store needs to implement it to satisfy the interface, right? Yeah.
Okay, well, next steps are, in order for the remote store to work, gRPC had to support optimistic concurrency, but the HTTP API does not support it, and that's not in any store. I'm wondering if we even need to support the HTTP API. I like the HTTP API though. It'll be more common if you're using JavaScript or Node.js to consume. I don't think you'd want to use gRPC with that. You'd want to use the HTTP API. So I don't have any tests. We'd have to duplicate these two tests in the HTTP API. Or have the remote store have another one of these that is an HTTP API remote store. I think it's less work to write the test for the HTTP API and keep it separate. Because the HTTP API, I hate saying that over and over, it does not, I don't think it has all of the exact same methods.
As
here, I can pull it up here. It's probably a better place to see it. In examples. So you've got the HTTP API, we've got a WebSocket API, and we got a gRPC API. We should probably do it for the WebSocket API too. But so the next hour and a half is going to be implementing optimistic concurrency for HTTP API and WebSocket API, since it's already been added to gRPC. Mouthful.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do these two things. HTTP API. So I don't need this. So the HTTP API. All right, I wanted to look at it. HTTP API. Get all events, save events. Okay, I thought it was going to give me the documentation. Maybe if we go there, we can look at it.
Oh, that's nice. Go doc.
Mm-hmm. That's what's really cool. If you do, where is this package? Package like RangeDB API. Okay, there it is. So it's under package RangeDB API. So this thing, there's a test in here somewhere. It's an example. Helper test, save events test. Here we go. So if you organize your test in this way and you start it with example underscore instead of test underscore or test, if you organize it and you, at the bottom of it you have output and then you comment what should happen. So right now when you do print line of the body, this is the JSON response of the body whenever you call the HTTP API. It will show up in this package.go.dev and you'll see the output. It used to be a little bit better, but maybe I'll get used to this. Basically, it's just, it takes everything inside of here and reformats it as if you're writing your code and then what the output would be. It's kind of nice copy and paste.
Yeah, that's cool. Sorry for the
a few places. So like here's a good example. So we have this sequential clock and a clock just returns time.now, but it implements the clock interface. And it's just a really nice way of showing when you have a clock and then you print now Unix, this is the output you'll get. So like if you've never seen this before, you know how you need to use this.
Yeah,
really quickly. I think essential clock. Is there a way to initialize? Oh, I'm getting off track. I wanted to show the documentation.
Sorry, I pulled you.
So we can either write another test like this, the example save event, showing what the output would be, or we can do test the API directly in a more XUnit style. I think we should do the XUnit style.
I'm on board with that.
But I have started to like the example tests. They're really, really nice to consume. All right, so we need to add, let's collapse everything. Health check, we don't care about that. Save events, that's probably where we want to be. Yes, this isn't very well organized right now, but it'll get better, I'm sure. Single JSON event, so they're attempting to save with this. How are we going to call the API to say save and I expect this number? That's kind of the thing here. Are they all using single? Okay, so here's the expected event. Okay, let's repeat a successful save.
Yeah.
Saves from JSON with stream. Okay. Is this going to be in the header? Or is it going to be in this thing? Let me just pull this down. Oh, a different color to show that it was I really like that. That's a new thing to show that it was shadowed.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I got to make the decision. We'll run the test while we think. Let's just test it all. I believe event store DB. I think event store does it in the header. To your PC clients. Look at their HTTP API. Writing a single event. That's pretty similar. Batch write. So we support batch writes as well. I don't see any expected stream stuff yet. Expected version header. The expected version represents the version of the stream you expect. For example, if you write to a stream at version 1, you expect to be at version 1 next time you write. This can allow for optimistic locking when multiple applications are reading and writing streams. If your expected version is not the current version, you receive an HTTP status code of 400. Okay, so we can do it like they do and add it as an expected header. That would probably be easier. It would force you to only be able to write to one stream at a time, which is probably better. I think RangeDB supports writing to multiple streams. I think it does. Because if we do the header, you can only write to one stream. If we do it in the JSON payload, we could specify, would you ever want to save 3 events in one stream and 2 events in another stream at the same time? I don't think you would. I think your aggregate would be working with just one stream. So we could set some kind of header. Does it need to be an X header? Value? I don't know. That's what do they do?
They do.
They do ES-current version.
So you could just.
We expect the version to be. I guess it would be 0 from the very first save.
Yeah.
Then we read another one that tries to save it out at 1, and then it should fail. That'll be the 2 simplest tests that we can write.
Yeah, that would replicate the tests from the other stores.
ES. What's a 2-letter shortcut for RangeDB?
I was gonna say RDB. Yeah.
RDB?
Yeah.
I feel like something else is RDB. There's got to be other stuff that's RDB. Oracle RDB. Yeah, they'll trademark us on that.
Right.
Nah, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
RD, RangeDB, range. They just have ES for event store.
Yeah.
Expected stream sequence number. Current version.
Yeah, they're calling it version versus like sequence number.
Expected makes more sense than current.
What is the first event?
What's that?
Setting the version. I see.
Let's look at the response.
So it looks
Created,
like this is.
Oh, they
They're
have this.
allowing you to set
Well, their
it.
doc is backwards. Wrong expected event number. What does that mean? What's the difference between current version and expected version?
Well, I think if you scroll up a little, it says like write the first event to a stream, setting the version. So I'm wondering if you can do ES current version like 100 and start it.
Oh, start it there. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's the way I read the documentation. I don't know.
No, I like that. Expected version. But we're not calling it versions. We're just calling it stream sequence number. We have global sequence number and then stream sequence number. I'm not afraid of these large names.
Yeah,
It's a big deal.
it's fine.
I almost rather call it X than anything else.
Yeah.
What is an X header? Custom proprietary header has historically been used with an X prefix. Deprecated in 2012. So I shouldn't use X?
I don't know. I feel like I still see it today.
I've seen X around. It's probably just X count, yeah. We can just spend the time finding the right name or come back and do it later.
Yeah, I'd say come back. Just mark it for X or X-RangeDB.
Yeah.
Make it even.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I like punting. And what response do they give you whenever it'll say wrong expected event number, or it will say created. Well, we return created, which is the 201, status okay. Let's see if that works. Hey, it works. Awesome. Let's go home.
Nice.
No,
nice.
we got it at the inverse. We got to write the failure.
Yeah.
Fails. Save with wrong. And the easiest way would just be to make this one. And this should be, what do the other ones fail at? Bad request, 400. What do they do? Yeah, bad request. That is bad request. Do we need to check the content type?
I
think we do, and we want it to be structured because it'll say status failed. I guess we can have a reason.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably going to want.
What do they say? Failed. Yeah, you're going to want to know why it failed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so our test does not assert it actually created. So how do we make this thing fail? Now the fun part. And if you're not okay with test-driven development, sorry, you're going to have to watch it. Some people don't like it. And I don't blame them. I used to be there myself. Okay, So we're calling save events. Let's see how this works. We've got, whenever you create the API with new, we use functional options to add any dependencies. Options are a store, a snapshot store, and a base URI. A snapshot store is a way to, what does it do? It's a way to save and load projections.
I see.
Then we initialize our routes, and we have save events, which is what we're calling. Go to that method. Save records, this is what we're calling. But we're not getting the expected stream sequence number. We probably should grab that. Expected stream sequence number. Let's get that value, and it can be empty string. So we'll want to do something different if it's empty. And it needs to be, it will be a UN64 value, but we'll get there in a second. Save records.
Save records.
Yeah, this is a...
That's why it's working, because it's just hard coding nil to,
yeah. So we want to get...
Yeah.
It's a long thing to type, and we'll just pass that into here. Now, is this the... This will be for each event. We can make it work now, and then we'll have to deal with multiple events. So I think...
I see.
Because we are... What is this doing? It's records. Oh, we're turning the JSON stream into a JSON record IO stream, which is a way to turn a JSON request into a channel of events.
Okay.
This thing takes, actually their channel of records.
And then
right here.
For each record in the channel.
Right. And a record is the envelope. It contains the data along with the extra stuff, like the global sequence number, stream sequence number.
So is that how batch is working, to batch the events?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm wondering if you could just do, if you did it here, then for each event you'd put what number you expect them to be. That might be more work.
That would solve for it, because then you're tying the sequence number to the event instead of the header.
I just don't know if that's supported because we don't, it's just ignored. The record, we only look at event type, ID, data, and metadata, and there's more to a record than that. A record has, oh, where were we?
It has it, stream sequence number.
Here. Right, so we're only accessing those two and those two.
Right.
Event type, so basically this event ID as well.
Right.
So do they have to give us an event ID?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we could do is, I guess the easiest would be just, instead of using that header, is to just have it right in the JSON. Then you could specify the individual sequence numbers you want. To me, that would make more sense than doing it that way.
Yeah. I mean, you have the ability to get the latest, right? Like the client doesn't have to keep track of what the last one they sent. Or
You would have to you'd have to build it in a way that, so instead of passing it here, we set it here.
mm-hmm.
And in this one, we would set it to 0. So let's disable this test for right now. Get this one to be, I think I want sequence number to be closer to the, yeah, I'll just put it here. Let's just do a pat. Oh, wait, we got the, it doesn't compile right now.
Yeah.
Where is it? Broken. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This passes, and now we want to add this new thing where instead of passing in sequence number 0, pass in 1. We want to use that as the expected sequence number, and that can be record.stream sequence number.
Hey folks, how's it going?
Who do we have on the call?
Ubi, Jordis.
Oh, Jordis. Hey.
Modeling. How's it
Yeah.
going?
Good. How you doing? We started a little early. We did record, so if you want to go back, we can.
Yeah, it's all cool.
I'll post this somewhere.
I had to go and eat something. Like the migraine was literally to the point where like, okay, if I keep going, it's gonna last for a week. What is this ring sent? This feels like Zoom to me.
Under the hood, it's Zoom. I did not have a Zoom license, but I do have a Ring Central one, so I use that.
Nice.
Well, to catch up where we are, we're in the HTTP API adding optimistic concurrency.
Yeah.
And we settled on putting in the expected sequence number in the JSON instead of the header.
I would definitely prefer that for sure.
And it made it a little bit easier. But there's one drawback. I don't know if it's a drawback, but it still allows you to create events in different streams in one request, which I guess is okay. We'll see. We're just trying to get it working now. And then the last piece, it looks like this is.
As you're saying, like what happened is, wait, so if I send like in a list of events at once, what's the sequence number there?
Right.
Got it. Yeah.
Right. If you look in Event Store DB, they pass it in via header with expected version. But if you pass in a bunch of events, is that the expected version after you're done? Is it
right?
Like which, I don't know. I don't know what the right thing is. This might be.
I would assume it's before. Yeah, that's a good, I think it will be kind of, yeah, actually, I don't know. I would say before everything is done, right? Something like that.
Do you know how to pass it in as a nil? Oh, there we go. Let's see if that works. Okay, we got a 500 this time. Bro, I think it broke some other tests. Save from this. What is the error? Make it nil for right now. Right, so the one that's failing, we're trying to save an event with a sequence number of 1 when the stream is only going to be at 0. So it should be 0. Like if I change it to 0, this would pass. No, and it doesn't. What are we doing down here? Oh, we're checking to see bad requests. Okay. So actual is 201. Okay. So what we want this to be 400, not 201. And how do we do that? If record stream sequence number, So it's 0 for all of the ones that don't pass it in. So this is going to break everything if we do it this way. So it won't distinguish, but it won't know the difference between that and not even having it at all. So we can't do it inside the JSON. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I think it now, like, now knowing how event store do it and the concern about list, I think what I would do, and this is a breaking change at that point, is just creating and preparing for the future for this type of situations where it's either I plug into the header all the time, or I change the structure and say, give me an events where the list of all the events, and then you leave off the object to be like free to have extra things. Because today is the sequence numbers, what could be tomorrow? I don't know. And I think that the situation, the problem from the get-go was to assume that, okay, just give me events and post in here.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not experienced with other event stores, so I'm not sure what the correct direction is to go.
Right.
The problem I'm having right now is whenever we let me just start from the beginning. When someone calls the save events endpoint, we use this JSON record IO stream reader to read the JSON and turn it into a channel of records.
Yep.
And the channel of records has all of these values. And really, this is the wrong thing to use because whenever they're consumed here, I only use these two values: event type, event ID, data, and metadata. Right? Event type, event ID, event type, data, and metadata. So I'm using the wrong struct to represent the data. So if we change the struct, we could make this work still with.
But what if you change as well the
We could do this. We would make it nullable, right? And passing in null is not the same as passing in 0, and that might work.
Yeah, but then what does SQL like do? Because now I understand the confusion in my side. Like, do I supposed to like calculate the sequence number for each event? At that point, like that would be something that has to be documented clearly. Otherwise, it's going to be confused.
Right. You're either going to have to do it on each event or on the grand total.
Right.
Like this one. So
but that's why I mean, like I said, like, wouldn't it be better to just prepare for the future? Because maybe instead of saying, "Oh, event store did it this way because that's the right way to do it," I think in terms of API, there is always nuances of like, "Oh, we did it this way from the get-go. We didn't capture the feature, and then they never change it to avoid breaking changes."
Right.
That's my thought.
With theirs, they only support saving to a one particular type at a time. So I can save hundreds of events in one request, but it can only go into one stream. Accidentally, RangeDB supports saving to any stream.
Right. So yeah, I don't know.
So as far as the 4 implementations of RangeDB, they're all working with optimistic concurrency. This is the HTTP API, and it's a little bit different. So having to make this one work as well, I've been kind of putting off, but it's been a couple months, time to get this in here. Julian did some good work on the initial optimistic concurrency. I want to get this done. But the 2 options moving forward are: do we add it here and call it expected stream sequence number, and that would require us to change this record IO stream reader to not be the same. I don't know who uses this.
Between this and the header, I would say the header at this point. If you're gonna do that,
yeah,
because otherwise
I think other things leverage the IO stream reader, and that will likely be used to stream in and out. I think, yeah, you're right. Okay. So we're going back to expected stream sequence number in the header. So let's put it back in here.
What is the value the event store uses?
I think it's a UINT, right? 64. Oh, events one.
Are you saying like what number it represents, or?
No, the header is ES-expected version.
Yeah, I just picked X for right now. We had talked about doing RDB, and then the conversation came up that we'll just deal with that later. That's a later to do.
Makes sense.
We'll put it right there. So what should it be? So a working one should save, and then we skip the other one real quick. Just go to Neil for right now. So we have more problems that are going to come up with this style. Okay, so the first save works. It just ignores the header. But now we want to pass in the wrong expected stream sequence number. And then we get an error, bad request, failed because of the wrong. We probably want to have message in here too. Something like that. Okay. So this is going to fail. Excellent. Now we need to go make it work. So we have this expected stream sequence number. This is the, after you've saved all the events, what is the expected number of the entire stream, or is it the number before?
I would assume the number before, because otherwise I'm gonna have to calculate how many events I'm gonna be writing and.
Right, and since it's going into a channel, we wouldn't know until we're done. So you're right. So it would be, it's really the next expected sequence number, not.
I mean, the question is, are you locking is that in a transaction type of situation? Because I think that's the intention, right? If when I save the set of events, that's happening in a transactional way where you lock.
Yes, it blocks.
Then I would save the previous one. Yeah, then I would say is the one who supposed to be there once and trying to write to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do I name this saying this is the expected next stream sequence? We'll leave it this and name it in a minute. So we're going to save records. And then we probably want to put that in here. Expected. Let's add that. So save records has this, oops.
I think we're gonna have
expected stream sequence number. If I go too fast, just let me know. I tend to bounce around really quickly. And this has to be a UNT64, correct?
Do we want to make that a pointer to allow those?
To allow, if it's not there. Yep. That means this is going to not work because this is a string. We need to turn it into a number. Just for right now. Is it A to I?
Yeah. ASCII to integer.
I think there's another one. Parse uint. Take in. And then what's the other ones? Base. Bit size. Yeah, I don't know. How do they use it?
Would that be 64, I guess?
10 and 64? Yeah. Yeah, I always go to the tests. So you just command click and then.
That is genius. I'm new into Go. I mean, all right, but like I'm watching here, like, wait, it's much easier to than it is for me. What the heck's going on?
Yeah, I hate documentation, but I love tests. They tell me how to use it in really, really nice ways.
Right.
I think there are shortcuts for this, but I'm not going to go down that path. I just want to get this thing, and I can inline this real quick. Inline? How do you inline? Oh, like that.
I mean, that worked for me.
Is it okay? I don't know.
I like it.
All right, we'll
I mean, what happens if there is empty screen? What would that give you back? Is a
zero value.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I did that so I can get rid of this I. I didn't want to have like this intermediate thing, but you can always, oops, no, don't do that. See, I go too fast for myself and now I don't get my fancy stuff. Okay. expected and then the error. I guess we can ignore, because we want this to be a pointer nillable thing. Should we just ignore the error? And then make this?
I wouldn't.
Well, like if it can't parse the expected stream sequence number.
Yeah, just try.
Because if the value is not set, it'll return an empty string.
Mm-hmm. Just say 400. Hey, you're trying to send me something that it makes no sense.
I can see that.
Okay, we'll test a few different styles and then we'll see. Right. So we got the expected sequence number. I don't know if this works. Shadowing my error. This is one thing I don't like about sometimes with Go is
yeah.
Yep,
okay.
sir.
Yeah.
How do I can't spell anything. Number.
Yeah, there you go.
Error. Does this work? Do you know if you can turn a uint into a? I guess you can.
Well, you're sending the address, right?
Expected stream sequence number, and then expected stream sequence number. Is that going to pass? I think it might. Okay, that worked. Maybe. We get a panic. We got a panic.
So fell into the.
A different test failed because we had this. So what we need to do is. Wait, that's done in multiple places. Can't see. Yeah, so maybe that was a bad refactoring earlier. It's too small. Variable. Input, maybe? Yeah, it's a long one. But effectively, if it's not, right, if they set it, then do this stuff.
Yeah, but I can set it to a random thing for whatever reason somebody didn't read documentation.
Mm-hmm. Yep, well, we're definitely gonna write a test for that. But right now there are other callers that aren't even setting the header, and that's failing for it. So it's failing for the wrong reason. We want to ignore the ones where they didn't set it at all, and then we'll write the extra test that you're talking about. But to do this, we have to set a I wonder if we can make it a pointer here. And then, can you do it like that? Can you parse a...
You might be able to...
uint 64. Can you do it like this? I don't think you can do that.
So you need to remove the dots equal thing?
I think we can just do that. Oh, you're correct.
Now trying to mess around with the pointer.
Oh, then you got to do the error. Oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
Or
right. Can you even do that? Okay.
Well, you are in Golang, so I would assume that if you highlight everything and then say extract to function, then call it a.
Which would do you want me to extract this to a function?
I would. Yeah, you could even from the header. Yeah, just that. Yeah, just say right click, extract the function, call it a. We deal with local stuff there. Yeah, there you go.
Do we
get expected sequence?
It doesn't need to be on the thing, but yeah, let's get them. That's just a function. And
I wouldn't put the header there even. Like pass the request.
I see. Encapsulate the whole thing.
Yeah. Anyway, this is an HTTP layer, so like it's fine to be passing around the header, I guess. Or the request and response type of situation.
Yep, I'll do it one at a time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what I want to do is turn that. And then I can just inline that.
Yeah.
Because pulling out the value of the header needs to be close to where it's consumed. And then I have a very simple function that just turns a string into a pointer to a uint64. Now this is separately testable. Even though it's a private, I extracted this really nasty part of the code. And we don't have to look at it anymore until we fix that panic thing. But we can test this error condition outside of HTTP, and I think that's a little bit better.
Yeah,
I understand wanting to pass this around. However, I strongly feel that like this code has nothing to do with HTTP and has everything to do with parsing and turning a string into a number.
Yes, but it's in the API.go, right? So it's in the HTTP file per se. If you move it out, I get it. But since it's in this scope, personally, like, you're dealing with HTTP stuff. So like, just pass that, and then you have everything where you read and make sure that you serialize things into where you want it in one place. But it makes sense. I get it.
Cool. Is this going to pass? I think it passes now. Oh, it failed some other things. That's no good. Are we getting panics? Is that what's happening?
No.
Expected. Oh, we just didn't get the wrong expected stream sequence number.
Yeah. Because I don't think we're passing back a actual message.
Right. So let's add that real fast. Right. Is there an error anywhere? Invalid input. We could check to see if it's of type. I think there was a type for.
There's there's an error that was created in the packages, the new one.
Yeah, unexpected sequence number.
Yeah.
So if we can probably just duplicate this guy. If it's that thing. Wait. Where is it? I thought it was an errors thing.
I thought it was too.
Let's go look for it. Errors dot. Is there already an errors package imported? I don't understand why you can't do that. Does not implement error. What?
Oh. No.
Does error need string? No, it implements error. Unresolved type.
Wait, go back there.
To errors?
Yeah.
It's like it's not getting the errors package.
Maybe the import is messed up.
Maybe.
Well, I wonder, I mean,
oh, because errors is a variable name. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, this isn't the greatest package name for this. Makes it harder to consume.
Yeah.
I'm running into that issue in like me trying to organize my code, where I don't want to repeat like user something, but then when I input it, it conflicts with variable names and like generic words.
Yeah, this type belongs over here in the store. I think I can do a quick move. Let me just do a refactor move. Let's put it in the base package. To file. To package. put it in store.go.go.
Yeah.
That's okay. As long as it's in the same package, I can just safely move it here. But that should have, it should have fixed all the places that consume this in memory store to use RangeDB.unexpected. Okay. Man, if I didn't have this, if I did not have this IDE, I'd be lost.
Yeah.
I'd be so lost.
Stuff like that is where like I gave up to VS Code, Vim idea, all the stuff. Like, nah.
What's the check?
Cool.
Anyone know how to do the check? I'll just do that.
The check is a bracket.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you put an X in.
Oh, there
inside.
you go. Okay, so we did that one. Yay. Oh, wait, we still have to make it do its job, though.
Yeah, then you can.
Okay, so if it is the type that, then we have this message. And it's going to fail because I didn't do the message exactly the same. Uh-oh. Wrong expected stream sequence number. I don't know if this is going to work. Oh, because this is on each save. So it had to be that number plus 1. Want it? Because that number, the test that we currently have written, sorry, my screen's really small.
Yeah,
Expected sequence number 1. Well, it's only going through the loop one time.
Yeah, but that
fail.
is something that we will have to test.
Right. So like
to
this
increment it if it's there.
Actual 500. Was there a panic? Why is it 500? Oh, because I did a.
Oh, you changed the signature.
I did bad request instead of.
Oh.
Wait, is it not this type? Let's just look and see what type it is. We'll go there. We'll do a quick debug. I don't like doing debugging, but sometimes I don't know what my code's doing. Takes a few seconds the first time you go through the debugging, but then it's pretty quick afterwards. Step over. What type is this error? Unable to save. Let's just step through and see where it goes. Oh, it didn't.
Why didn't it?
I mean, that's the string, but it is not of that type. You have to, I think you have to peek into its, I think you have to do this. Error dot, is that not how we do it?
I think you're.
Should it not be a pointer?
Yep.
Try it again. It fixed some other things. Those might be unrelated though. No?
Why isn't it? Let's see.
What is save records doing? Calling save event on the store. Is it because that's an error? Let's look at in memory. Unexpected sequence number. Why would that not be? Does it need to be a pointer to that? No. Okay, let's just do this and see what's going on. Run. All right, let's play to the next one. So it is returning it of that type. It's coming here. Are we wrapping it? Oh, I wonder if we're wrapping it. That would cause it to be weird. Oh yeah, we are wrapping it. Do you know how to unwrap and check the type? we can probably do %W, and that'll retain the type inside.
I see.
Then we would need this to be a pointer. Just rerun and see. Anyone know how to do that in Go?
Yeah, this is where it's no fun, and people ended up using third-party packages, so you could just keep wrapping it and wrapping it and then unwrap it. No clue, dude. I'm sorry.
So this is what we're doing, but what if it's wrapped? E.error. So we can check E.error.
So it is casting it to a particular thing and then error. So go back to the example. So it's
okay.
Yeah, it's casting the thing as a query error, and then you could read it, I guess. That's what it's doing. So in our case, go back to the struct that you have, the unexpected. So what does FM that's, wait, no, the error.
Oh,
that,
one that's actually
okay, that
returned?
one. Okay, so that's a record.
In memory returns this guy.
Where are you wrapping it? You say we wrap it, so where?
Yeah, it was wrapped. I think API wraps it here.
So what is error that F, what does?
Yeah, we don't have to wrap it. I don't see what value that adds. Yeah, I think we just don't wrap it. It might break some tests, but wait, what? It still didn't work? Let's run it again.
Go back now. I mean, you returned that, but now you need to be able to tell that is that error, right?
Yeah, it's.
So I don't know if.
Unexpected stream, unexpected sequence number. It missed it. I think it's because it's not a pointer. And just go back and make it return a pointer instead. I don't need that anymore. Okay, now it's inside. Man. All right. Let's just run the tests. Now it passes. I believe we've broken something though. I don't know what it is yet. We'll find out in a second. Run everything. Yep. Getting a 400, trying to save events. Test with 4 events saved. So it's trying to save some events. Actual 400. It has to be this expected stuff.
Yeah. And that should work because we're not passing the sequence number, so they should just all be nil, right?
Yeah, it's even failing here. Yeah, they're not passing anything in. I'm just going to run this one test and try to get it working. But I think if you just... That should make it work. So something's happening. What are they passing in? Empty string. And it's converting empty string into what? Yeah, I'll just debug. It's easier.
Probably 0.
Yeah, it's probably 0. Zero.
Yeah, so it's defaulting to the 0 value, which then it's.
Oh, because we're taking the, yeah, exactly right.
So it's trying to pass 0 in.
But if it was a pointer, can you parse into a,
this
I
is
hate
that
having to search
problem.
for this stuff.
Yeah. It's like you have to cast it.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not doing unsafe.
Mm.
No, thank you. Oh, sprintf would, wait, would that do that? Parse uint? That's what we're doing. Unsafe. Oh, God, unsafe.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we could do this and then set it to be, here. We could do that. That would make it work.
What if
Oh, then we don't need this stupid, you just do error.
what if instead of doing the negative, you do the equals? So like if it is expected is the blank string, you just return no.
And if, oh, flip? No, is there not a way to, if it's nil, then just return nil?
Yeah. And then the rest of the code can just work. It might be a little easier to read too.
No, I like it. That's a really good catch. Expected, and then you just return the pointer to that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not how you do it. Oh yeah, much better.
Yeah.
I hate having to test this function through something else, but I like the way it looks now a lot better. It's so much easier to read.
Yeah. Deal with it, and then if it's not, process it. Yeah.
There we go. Cool. We need to do something with this though, eventually. Let's see if all the tests are working. This HTTP API, I'm not really happy about it. Hey, it works. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
No, we gotta do this. We gotta do this to do. I don't know if there's any private test. Oh, there's a private test. Test string. It doesn't know how to reach it and grab it.
Just, yeah, string.
Okay. So when we call ring to sequence number with 0, we expect it to be uint64 of 0.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, we could probably just collapse this and just
get that in.
So we can do all of our quick tests here.
Oh, because it's a pointer.
You have to do this. How do you do this?
Isn't the other
Or you can
that one? No.
Point. Oh, you have to do it like this. uint64. You have to cast it as a pointer to a uint64 or something. I don't understand.
Can you add the pointer to the function? Like compare the.
How do you mean, like this? Do you reference it?
Yeah. So then you're just comparing the values.
Yeah, he's just coming up with all the answers here. What are you doing, man? Let's do the nil one first. So if you pass in an empty string, it's nothing. It's nil. Passing 0 to 0. This is good for a table test.
Yeah.
We can refactor to that, but I don't really care. What's the max?
Property based test as well.
What's that?
Property based.
Property based?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
That's an strategy you're testing where you don't have to come up with the cases. The testing framework itself would do it for you. So it's kind of like you specify, you say like, okay, it is supposed to take an int and return an int. Let the framework itself to figure out all the cases and tell you which one would fail back. Let's see.
So if they pass in a negative number, I don't want it to give us a number. Ooh, we don't want that to happen. They can call a runtime error if they just pass a negative number. That's no good. Oh, we have to panic to do fixes.
We panicked, yeah. So that's the error. Yeah.
So what are we going to do on that? Just return nil in those cases? What do we got here? Chat.
I don't know. This is kind of the one that's like, should we tell them that should that be a bad request?
I know this one. It's just about the property-based testing, but there you see in the assertion, you say a list of term, and then you figure out whatever you need.
Oh, cool.
That is cool.
So check like all the cases, right? Like it would go from 0 to 100 or however many cases. So you say, give me to positive. Anyway.
I think for this, we just test the a few different versions. We don't need to go through everything. I think that'll work.
I'm curious to know how you do it in Go.
How would you do that type of test? You would do usually it's a table-driven test, but
no, I know that table-driven, but the table you still need to maintain the table.
Right.
But I'm saying like these frameworks you don't do it. Like the framework itself know how to come up with the cases, and it would tell you back the case that would break. So you figure out what needs to be fixed in your code.
Let's see if there's anything. We got like half an hour and we're already over the major hump, so we can see if this is in here. I don't think they're doing the same thing you're talking about.
Oh, nice. There is a testing quits.
Yeah, what does quick do? Quick.check.
Yeah.
Function.
Oh, you're reading the one I'm reading. I'm like, oh, shit. All right. Yeah. Testing /quick. All right. That's interesting. Now I know.
Okay. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole right now. I just want to get this working. Let me get this guy going. Invalid memory address.
So it's
or nil pointer dereference. Oops. What?
Oh,
we can't test on nil?
Oh, I think it's because you're using the pointer. So you're trying to dereference the pointer, but the value is nil. Or not value, but there is no pointer.
Expected actual. So we don't want it to be nil. We want it to be a UNT64 of nil.
Yeah.
Like that. It's a nil UNT64.
Yeah.
Is that not how you do it?
It might have.
Oh, because we've dereferenced it, we would have to do like that.
It's something like that.
What did the error say? Sometimes you can just copy this.
Oh, it's a pointer. Yeah. There you go. Boom.
But that doesn't work.
Do you need the leading pointer?
You can also assert nil.
Yeah.
It's probably easier.
That's probably the better test. Yeah. That's probably way better.
I know there's a way to do that assertion on it. I just don't really want to wrap my head around it right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So if they pass in a negative number, we go parse uint. Wait, how did that work? We didn't write any code for that. Shouldn't that have?
You return nil.
Because it's unsigned.
Yeah.
It has to be unsigned, so that works.
Yeah.
We can do one more test for I don't know, what's a large value? I don't know why, I just wanted to do one more extra test. We satisfied with this thing?
It works.
All right. Let's see if the API package works.
What happened when you reach the limit of N64? You're making too much money. Don't worry.
Good things happen.
UNX64? Damn.
Well, that's why the event ID is a uint64.
Yeah.
So you can have lots and lots and lots and lots of numbers. All right, let's see if the whole thing works.
I'll probably be dead if that by the time that happens. It'll outlive me.
All right. So it works. There's a couple that are skipped because I don't have Postgres running, but this works. This is good. Do a quick code review. We're grabbing the header, X expected stream sequence number. Do we want to deal with this naming yet?
Punt.
Yeah, punt again. This code, okay, wrong expected stream sequence number. What do they call it?
They have current version and expected version.
Wrong expected event number.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're saying too.
Yeah.
Okay, we got this function that returns a uint64 from a string. Probably should rename that though. String to sequence number. That's okay. We shouldn't pass it in on every save. That's not going to work. So we're not done. What happens if you pass in 2 events?
Oh yeah, that's gonna break. We need a test for that.
I'll just say successful on 2 events. All right. A new number. Go and do a new one here too, just in case. All right. So it should be 1. And this is going to fail because it's going to try to just run the whole thing. It's going to keep trying to say the expected event number is what you passed in, and it should only do it on the first time, right? Maybe.
Where is opening the transaction for?
Yeah, here.
It's...
So you pass in this JSON stream as a body, and it picks off the first one.
But who's doing the locking? Who's doing like
lock,
that
happens beyond. Yeah, that's not.
Because it will be there, right? You either lock a single write or you're gonna have to lock a set of writes. And
Oh,
then
I see what you're
unlock it.
saying. Lock them all.
Yes, because if you're doing the lock inside the save event, then you're gonna have to put the sequence number and you maintain the +1.
Yeah.
Or you open the API to be kind of like lock, save a set of events, unlock.
Oh, yeah. That I don't know if we're gonna be able to open that up, because right now when you save in memory, we lock here, and then we unlock after all the work's done, or there's a failure. But that's there's not a save multiple events on
Right.
the store, so we'll have to have save multiple events and take this logic out of here.
Yes, that's what I would recommend to do.
Wonderful. So then we have to implement that on all the stores. I don't know if I have enough time to do that. But you're 100% correct. Like, we don't want to be saving and locking each time we save. That's no good.
Yeah.
We'll need a new thing called save events, and that's what takes a stream of. It wouldn't be one thing. It'd be more like the save events, and it's a stream of events or records. I think it would be a stream of records.
I mean, you're using records for now, right?
Record is the envelope. Record is, it's got all this extra stuff, but the event is really just the data.
Aren't you casting everything into records right now from the API? From the
on the boundary.
API, you told me like you're just taking shortcuts and using record for now.
In the boundary, that's true. Internally, it's all event based.
Got it.
So if the store had,
so say events. So it will be a list of events.
And then an expected stream sequence number. Then you could only save events on one stream, which is probably better, to be honest. That should probably be first.
Yeah.
Oops, I did it on the wrong one. So this is what the new one would look like.
Is that metadata for all the events inside?
Shit, that'd be per event. So it'd have to be, that's where having the record would be nice.
Right.
Yeah, I would assume that the metadata is inside my event though.
It's not though. Data and metadata are two separate things that are inside the envelope of the record. But I don't want to use the record as a transport. It would need to be.
Yeah, but I think don't even store kind of like put the data and metadata like part of like the event. No, they do that. Okay, got it. Yep. Yep, I remember. Yep.
So I think I need a new envelope that just carries the data and metadata and not the other stuff, because these are all like internal things, and really shouldn't be external. I really wish I would not have used that. Okay. What I need is a new type. It's really just this. And that's what's streamed in.
Do you need the event ID and the event type?
Yeah, because that's what's event type, event ID. Yeah, we need those too. And that is what is streamed in. This could be nice for the JSON API stream. I don't want to deal with that right now.
Yeah. Just add to the list.
Event with metadata. Is it going to be a pointers? Save events, and then we don't need metadata anymore.
I like that.
So that'd be a little better. If that's the case, I'd do the same thing with save. We always call it save. Well, with save is really nice because then you can just save the event. You don't have to pass in the other stuff because the event is capable of getting aggregate ID type and the event type. So really having event type is not event with metadata. But I think that should be an event instead of an interface. The way that it's passed in, will we have the event type? Or is it just an interface? Okay. Save event. And the event's just an interface. So what we really needed, we needed this. Do we have to pass an aggregate type, aggregate ID as well? Event type, event ID?
Isn't that actually an event is something that have the aggregate type, the event type, the ID, and data metadata, right? It's all that. So your record is kind of like the actual event in the system, isn't it?
Is the record like the event in the system? So internally, record is used to store. It's the envelope, but it's not something that should be used outside of the internals of the RangeDB store. So like the API, or the API test. Outside of the internals, this is the only thing you should know about for creating an event. ID, type, data, metadata. Because you, and then on the URL, you pass in which aggregate type and then the ID, which combined creates the event stream. So you have to know those things to save it, but you wouldn't know internals such as global sequence number, stream sequence number, insert timestamp. That's the time it actually got written to disk or accepted it.
So maybe event public event.
Yeah. Something.
That's
naming. I mean, at that point, you just call it public event.
Yeah.
Or event input, maybe.
I mean, that's the request object, right? Basically.
Yeah, you would be calling, say, instead of doing all this, we have records. So instead of creating those records, we would create those event inputs. And we'd need some kind of JSON record IO stream to receive them. This record IO stream, we need a whole, this is what we talked about earlier. We'd have to rewrite this thing. Right now, since it looks like a record, it was just using that. I'm wondering if we should just write another one. Because it supports 3 different styles, Indy, JSON, JSON, and message pack. I kind of want to deprecate the message pack because it didn't really do what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to be more performant, and it really didn't do much. Oh, man. It's starting to look like a pretty big rabbit hole. How can we bite it off just enough? Can we ignore the performance aspect of locking and then come back in another commit to add this? Like this would just be a to-do type thing. right here. To call today a success, or to be done with today. Right, where's save records? Would that be acceptable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the challenge of software engineering. How do you know when to stop? And how do you know when to create technical debt? Because this is technically technical debt, but I think it's the right kind of technical debt.
Right.
How much did we break here?
Well, that's going to...
Save. Okay, so it's just, now it's failing in the right place. Save 2 events. So all we have to do is make this work.
Yeah.
Expected stream sequence number, and we'll just increment it each time.
You have to do a null check, though. Yeah. Or nil. Because if it's nil, it should work, and we shouldn't increment, right?
Right. So we can make saying was not used or something. I don't know what to call it, but C.
CF counter?
Yeah, it'll be like a counter, but I just wanted to call plus plus. Can you not do that? You gotta dereference it. Oh, that's perfect. No, we gotta rename it.
Should that go after the save, though?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
And you just come up with all the right
Nah.
answers. Closer, maybe. Shouldn't that have worked?
I feel like it should have.
Oh, if there's an error, that would return. What's it failing on? Wrong expected stream sequence number. Should we put the number?
I was thinking that.
I mean, if you do have a way to even tell me what's the current one or whatever, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
It's in there. It's in the actual error message.
Yeah, the more info you give me, the easier you make my life.
Because you've got, oh. And next and expected. We can give both of them.
Yeah.
We could even pass it's kind of error message. Unexpected sequence number.
Yeah.
Just pass it along.
Yeah. I would just get, yeah.
Pass it right in.
Yeah. Yep.
Another one's going to fail, but.
Right. Yeah. You just have to update the.
Fix that one first, and then.
Yep.
All right.
No.
Next was 0. Oh, because I put the wrong one in. I put 1 instead of 0. We said that it was going to be 0.
Yep. So it's working as it should.
Yeah.
I love it when that happens.
That's supposed to work that way because there's no test. Well, the problem about this is there's no test that forces me to write this C++ code. I'll go ahead and how about next?
Yeah. That's better.
Okay, so this is good. We've got it working. it does lock each time through the loop, which is not very good for performance, but it got us to the point where the test passed and we can call this a clean commit.
Yeah, I would definitely say this is a good spot for a commit.
Yeah, because doing it the correct way it's gonna take a lot longer to change and add this new function to all of the stores.
Yeah,
and I just don't want to write SQL right now, or iterate on level DB. So we got this unexpected sequence number. We moved it to the right package. All right. We captured the technical debt. Unwrapped the error. No one seemed to really care. Didn't break anything. This is why testing the return types is important, or at least the actual string, and there wasn't a test for that, so my fault. I don't like private tests, but sometimes you got to do it. We added expected stream sequence in the header with X.
Maybe move the function out of the API and put it inside the...
Like another library. That's a good idea.
Or something generic, but move it out of the API layer, I guess.
Yeah.
And the API layer uses that helper function from...
Yeah. Because I mean, all the way the function's written is give me a string and I'll give you a pointer to a uint, right?
Right.
It has nothing to do with anything other than that conversion.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it might be a helper package inside of RangeDB. Like if you ever need to convert a string to a sequence number, like that's a domain specific task. So it's not necessarily a across the board task because it's specific. We don't want negative numbers, and we want to make nil not be 0 or empty space not be 0, whatever. So it's save 2 events. And then fail to save with the wrong sequence number. Okay, I'm good with that.
I like it.
Got rid of errors, moved it to RangeDB, made it return a pointer. Are the other stores going to fail because they're not returning the pointer correctly? Let's check that real quick because that's going to be important. Because if I had to fix it here and this isn't done everywhere, they're going to break. And this is where people start thinking they need to have integration tests everywhere. And that's a slippery slope. Because really, like this should be asserting equal error, the error string. So we want to have so instead of saying contains, it will be this. I want to run it for the in-memory store, and then I want to run it for the other one. So let me test, verify. Okay, so I can get rid of this one. And I also want to assert can you type? Is type? How would we assert that it is a pointer? Like that? And then we run all the tests, and the other ones are going to fail. Oh, this is just an if. It's not checking, so it won't. If it's not, wait.
There you go.
Oh, I wonder if it had to be wrapped because of the way the. Oh, wait, maybe not. Yeah, that's why it had to be done that way. Okay, let me fix that real quick, and then. It's because the gRPC store does things a little bit differently.
Okay.
But we still want to make this thing be a pointer. I just don't like if statements. What's the expected type? It would need to be that. It is of that type, and then we do the assertions. I would have thought this would have given me access to it.
I think you have to
still have to do the type conversion.
Yeah.
If it's okay.
You can require, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like seeing if statements in tests. Okay, so these other ones are breaking now. That was expected. Because they're not returning a pointer. So, level DB store. It should be pretty simple. We just go find all the places that return this thing.
Yeah.
Can do this, and now I can just go to them. That one returns a pointer. This one does not. This one does not. When I worked for a company in Austin, we wrote our own tooling for this. Now that the ID has it, I'm so happy. It's like make your own quick to-do list for code. Okay. Remote store is not working. This is the gRPC. So this might be a problem with gRPC. And I don't know how to fix this. I think it has something to do with it not being of that type, and we're at 5 o'clock. I don't know if we can get through this. I can probably go another 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I can do another 5, 10, whatever.
Yeah, don't ask me. I can do like 10 in.
Or, yeah.
But you see the problem, it's with the gRPC implementation, it doesn't, the save event for gRPC, which is the remote store.
Is that?
It's inside of, now we're in the RangeDB PB, and we're kind of in the danger zone because this is generated code.
I see.
And we don't have control over it.
Good.
But we can do something with it. That's saving grace here. The thing is, it's not returning it's failing here because it's not returning it's not of that type. It's something else. It's probably of that type. Unexpected sequence number. But it's probably like wrapped up under the hood somewhere.
But wait, what is the status that error pointer? Where'd that come from? Is there a RPC or gRPC error type?
Yeah, let's take a look at it. How do I run just the remote store test? There we go. And I can make it just run this one, but it's been a while since I've done that, so wait, shouldn't that have failed?
Because it is getting a error, it's just not that type.
Yeah, it's not a pointer. If I change this to be a regular value, it works, doesn't it?
No.
Oh, so I think it changed somewhere else. It went to here. It's not of it couldn't get this type.
I see.
But I want it to be of this type, unexpected stream.
So
how is it done? in-memory store, Postgres store. Yeah, I don't even know how to make it work in there. It's been a long since I've messed with the gRPC thing. Because I believe under the hood, it's using the in-memory store, and that's what's getting packaged along through gRPC. And it's just not, the save event isn't doing the same thing as the other ones are. Does that make sense? Because remote store is a specific, it's not like the other ones. It's making HTTP calls to another store. And in the test scope, it sets up an in-memory store, then sets up gRPC stuff that uses that one. So it creates, it basically creates a gRPC listener on a port. I think it's on a port, using the in-memory store over here in this separate thread. And then calls are being made over HTTP. And the way that it gets the messages back, it doesn't recreate this unexpected sequence number. So maybe we can just do that, right? We look at the error and say if it contains this string or something, it failed to wherever the failure states are.
Right. At that point, it's just you lose the. So you correct me if I'm wrong. So you were saying is like I have some mock server running here with the in-memory store, and we're actually doing assertion against the actual APIs to that store, right? Using gRPC. Right. So at that point, we lose the pointers or anything like that. It's just strings.
It's just strings.
Or bytes or whatever. You got it. Yeah. Okay.
In this case, it's here's the message that comes back. Failed to get record. It does have the. Whoa. That may not be the exact error, but
yeah.
Available. Transport is closing. Unable to save to store. Unexpected sequence. So it does have this, but it's wrapped in this RPC error.
Yep.
I see.
So in here, we have to do some checking to see if it says, if it has that string, then we need to turn this thing into a unexpected sequence number error.
Right.
If strings that contains what is the thing? Come on.
There you go. Should be.
Oh, there's another one. What is that? Test data? Oh, get out of here. So if it contains this is going to have to be a candidate for a function. But if we've got that, isn't there like an sprintf thing that you can extract? And define like, here's the structure of the thing and I want it to pick off the values. Do you know how to do that?
No.
Anyone?
No. Right, because the values can be different.
Extract values from string.
Regex?
Yeah, it's like a regex, but I think there's do we have to do a regex for this? Here, let's do it this way. Let's test drive it. I want a function. It's going to be in the remote store. Test, convert, string to so when I have, so when I have that, when I call, convert,
I mean, I'm going to say something kind of hacky, but isn't the whole error like RPC error code internal in the description? Can you just split on description?
No, we can do it however you want. I'm just getting the test so that we have it.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got what's the first one? Expected, and then next. So expected would be 1. And this could be actually a helper on this unexpected sequence number, actually.
I see.
It could be a function to create one from a string.
Yeah.
Right? And that means it lives in the RangeDB store. Unexpected sequence number, new from string. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I imagine it'll be used again.
Yeah.
Put the store over here. And then we have like usually the constructors are here. New.
What are you trying to do for now? Taking a string and create the unexpected sequence number struck back?
Mm-hmm.
Out of an error string?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here is we want to have, if it has this thing, then we want to, call new unexpected
Yeah, return
that. We just want to defer.
And why do we need that helper in the store in RangeDB? Isn't this just for testing stuff?
Maybe. I don't know. I just wanted a place to put it. Like this function could live anywhere. Since it's creating one of these things, I thought it should live close, because there could be times where you're going to make a different API to. What if we made an HTTP API remote store? You might need to do that. But really, I just wanted a safe place to stick the code. I don't really care where it lives.
Yeah. I mean, the rabbit hole is like people would see it there, so they would use it. And
we could make it private, or we could stick it somewhere else.
Yeah,
that's a good call. People could see it. Is there a private test in here? No.
You know how that goes. Like, oh yeah, we introduced it because of testing situations and particular scenario. Hey, my system rely on this function. Why you remove it? Oh shit.
Would anyone want to? Well, someone could be consuming the HTTP API and they may want to extract it out, because we pass that message along. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, a thought on that, because I'm actually working in setting some architecture for that. That's where the errors should be more structured errors, where it's not just the message, but you have metadata with the errors, so you have more scope about what's going on.
Okay. And now we can just test this thing. Missing what? Return. Oh, this is where we have to actually do it. I was like, oh crap. And we're going to use a regex for this, or a simple parsing thing, or splitting.
I don't think my split will work.
I can split on this.
Yeah.
What did someone paste in? I don't have the chat. I can't see it. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't get distracted.
Is that what split returns? And then we have this string. We have to split again. I think a regex is probably gonna be better.
Yeah. After I said it, I was like, oh, that's not gonna work.
I thought there was I think there's an opposite of sprintf.
That pulls out the.
Yeah, it's kind of how you do.
Look.
Postgres. It's kind of like this, where you have the dollars, and then you scanf. Yeah. FMT scanf, and then I can define the struct. Yeah, I'd rather use that if I can. Then you do %d, and then your values, and it would be expected next.
Yeah, they
And,
might have to be, yeah.
the ints, what are they? Oh, they're uint64s.
Yeah.
So we don't need to do that. We just scanf and then what does it return? The number and then the n and error.
So I don't think you need the number.
You have to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Then return a new unexpected, fill all fields, expected, next. That work?
This is kind of dope.
Fail.
But it's, yeah.
No pointer dereference. It returned nil.
So there was an error.
I wonder if I don't have exactly the, does it work with stuff in front? All right, I don't know how to do it.
Scanf. Yeah. They're not.
Oh, and you have to pass it in like this.
Oh, like the address.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Maybe not. Require. Otherwise, it'll yell at you for your wrong thing. Okay, so it's not working. Maybe I just don't know how scanf works.
I thought that
%d. %d.
what's the
Ampersand. Come on, Tom, leaning on you. You're the one that always has the right answer.
yeah, I'm gonna have to.
What's the error then? Log dot.
Yeah, I was gonna say print the error.
Unexpected end of file. So it did not.
Doesn't like that, right?
%d.
Yeah.
What? What's the playground? Oh, I gotta pass in. Wait, is it scanf?
I was just. Yeah.
And then you gotta pass in the string, and then the thing, and then the thing. Oh, we weren't even using input. It was like looking at standard input.
Oh, I see.
Hey, look at that, we got a value.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, that was
No.
brain fart. Now, will it
Got
work
it.
if you don't have all of the stuff? No, is there like a star?
Oh, like, right.
Ignore everything. It has to be in the exact format. This is where we may have to do.
Yeah, a split.
A split. Strings that split.
Yeah.
Input, and then split on this, and then it has this
Yeah. Pieces.
1.
1. Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Now we can turn it into that. Let's probably do another test. This is where you do a table-driven test.
Yeah.
But for right now, I don't know. My brain's starting to slow down.
Yeah, same.
So I want it to work for both. I think it will. Yeah. Okay, now we can use this thing. Shit, that was a lot of work for something silly. Oh, well, it does that. So did all the tests pass?
Should. That's returning a pointer, right? Then doing
it. Dopamine-driven development. I'm happy with that. I'm going to call it we'll do a quick code review and then call it a done.
Yeah.
X header is definitely not going to be merged in, but it's a step in the right direction to getting optimistic concurrency closer.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly appreciate your help. I'm glad we got testing around this pointer thing that was concerning me.
No, happy. Stoked.
And next steps are going to be adding that new method to save multiple events on the store. And then we'll have this event input stuff for that later.
Yeah, that was a good catch.
Yeah, this should probably live somewhere else. I don't think being on RangeDB, unexpected sequence number is, he's right. It's not a good place for that. But I do want it to be close to the interface because that's a type that you'll be working with. So I need to find a good middle ground on what this should be. Yeah, that code was pretty bad. But it doesn't matter. It's like, if you want to make a regex to do that, it'd probably be better. So do convert to regex. I think that's what they're for, right? Do it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Get rid of that. Get rid of errors. Get rid of this if condition in the test. I think that's a better place to be because it wouldn't have caught the exact types being returned. I just hate seeing if statements in tests. It turns into dark code. It's why I don't like the internal Go stuff. The way they write tests, it's all ifs, and then you just have code that never gets executed.
I see.
So the reason they do it is so you don't have extra packages to depend on, but I really wish they would just have an XUnit style basic testing package. Is there a PR for this? 5.
Yeah.
What did we do?
HTTP API implemented optimistic.
Yeah, we did these things.
Yeah.
Spell. Moved unexpected. Yeah. Where is it to?
RangeDB. Yeah.
I think it's it.
Yeah.
And this is going to on optimistic concurrency. I'm going to go ahead and push this. I just want to get, oh, great. What did That's unhandled error and then Postgres. More the same. More the same. Use parameter and Postgres. We'll deal with those later. I'm not worried about that. I always like to review the suggestions though. Yeah, we need to do, that's fine. All right. So what's left? Change the header, add optimistic concurrency to the WebSocket API, deal with some photographs. Yeah, man. I'll just put it in here. You do like this, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Should I put it in the description for the thing? I'll just do it here.
I think a comment is fine.
And we already added. Yep.
Yeah.
I should have added the ones we already did. That way you can see them checked off.
You can edit it.
Yeah.
I would do it.
You gotta change history all the time.
No, you can edit the comment, right?
I know, it's changing history. All right, well, that was a fun 2.5 hours.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
Thanks for tagging along, really helped. I mean, I would have gone down a different path most likely, and then we would have had this conversation, and I would have had to spend another hour fixing it, and no, this is better to be on the same page. Cool. We'll probably do another one of these, make them frequent. I think this month's out of the question because of holidays and whatnot. But next week, wait, what is next week?
Yeah, feel free to add me to these events, by the way.
I might do this next week. It's easier for me to set the time because, you know, if I can set aside an hour or two on maybe Fridays to work on this, I'm more likely to do it than to, at the end of the day, try to do it in the evening. It's harder and harder.
Yeah, for sure.
But thanks, guys. That was great.
All right.
Nice meeting you, man. Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.